what needs. Ron Burgess Motivation. Make sure y'all subscribe. This is my first, I think, official show. I got something for y'all today. I think every day I'm gonna come out to the same spot and I'm just gonna put some notes on the paper. That's all. I got a few. I ain't gonna hold y'all long though. There's a lot of people been telling me to address the Karmelo Anthony issue, and every time something happens, senseless acts, tragic incidents, we always seem to blame the parents, but no one talks about the responsibility that the community has. It's typically the community that's blaming the parents for not raising the children the right way. Although I was raised the right way, my mother tried to instill good things in me. I still ended up doing a short bid. I still ended up hanging with people that I probably didn't have no business hanging with. I still ended up going a whole different path. And that's although I was raised in the church, although my mama raised me do the right thing and respect people, I still veered off. So it's very frustrating when a community gets together and the first people they blame is the parents when they don't mention anything that can hold themselves accountable. Like, they don't mention the red flags. They don't mention the ways they could have intervened with youth empowerment and things of that nature. They don't mention that stuff. They blame it all on the family. That's a big flaw a lot of the community has. We will try our best to get out of accountability by blaming somebody else. And in this example, we always blame the parents or somebody else. Senseless act on the court systems. And I feel like we as a community got to come together and instead of looking towards parents, look at ourselves. Think about and reflect, right? Sometimes when things like this happen in life, you have to pause and reflect. We all know that adversity is inevitable, so sometimes it's okay to just pause and reflect. I think this is going to be one of the most important times. We have to really pause and reflect and take it back to the drawing board. What needs to happen next in order for us to really overcome this? You can't get through any challenges without faith. And I was asked recently, how do I define success? And I think the definition of success is deeper than you. Success is how can you impact people around you and be there for the people that you care for, right? When you get to a certain level and a point in your life, how can you use your blessings to help everybody else with everything they got going on? And I think that's what success is all about. Success is about something bigger than you. And the biggest way I explain it is the fruit on the tree isn't for the tree. The fruit on the tree is for the people that's passing by. Like, the fruit on the tree, and the tree isn't growing this nourishing and healthy fruit to eat the fruit itself. The tree is growing and bearing fruit and healthy fruit in order to support everybody that it's around, in order to be there for everybody that potentially walks by. And the same goes for people. You're building resilience and strength and continuing to bear fruit, not for yourself, it's for the people you encounter, the people in your family, the people you love, the stranger that may be going through something, and you may just be the perfect person to, I guess, plant a seed of hope and faith, right? So when I say the fruit on the tree isn't for the tree, in all reality, I mean your growth and your resilience, right? A lot of people's destiny is dependent on your obedience to God. A lot of people's destiny is dependent on your growth. Can you be like the tree? That way, everybody you encounter that may be starving inside and that may lack hope, may lack strength, that may lack a little faith, can you be like the tree? Can you be that sense of nourishment, that hope, that purpose? And I think that's what it's all about. We don't have enough kind people in the world. You may be someone that's listening to the podcast. You may be like, bro, I'm hurt. Like, and I get it because I've been hurt before too. And not once, not twice. I can't count on enough finger and toes, right? The times that I've been hurt. And as humans, we know we don't forget, but I want you to know that you got to forgive. They say when you don't forgive someone, it's like me picking up sand right here and blowing it into the wind, and it's coming in the opposite direction. It's just gonna backfire on me. So I'm not saying that I forget all the people that hurt me, right? Not forgetting, I think, is a recipe you add to how do I set the appropriate boundaries. How do I set the appropriate boundaries with this person to make sure they can't harm me again emotionally, right? They can't, get under my skin, or they can't rent space in my mind. So I think when we say we don't forget, that's needed. We can't forget, because if we do forget, how are you going to set the appropriate boundaries to make sure that person never harms you again? So, but forgiveness is a master skill that not everybody has, a skill that really takes a lot of repetitiveness to really practice and put into play and role play day in and day out. That you truly know you've forgiven someone when you don't bring it up anymore. Like if I made you feel some type of way last year and we get into a little miscommunication, and one of the main things you say is you did the same thing last year, that's enough information to help me understand that you did not forgive me for how I harmed you last year and made you feel some type of way. Even if you told me, like you probably told me you forgave me, right? But actions speak louder than words. And when someone continues to bring something up, despite them telling you that I forgave you, that means they truly did not forgive you. Can I give you some feedback? And before I even give you some feedback, I'm going to tell you why people struggle with your feedback. You wonder why people don't take your feedback good? I'm going to tell you why. The number one step to giving someone feedback is first asking that person, can I give you some feedback? And it's up for that person to respond yes or no. And that response is going to determine whether you give that feedback that you had. And what happens is we have a bunch of know-it-alls, and it happens to me all the time. People come up to me, Ron, you should do X, Y, and Z. And then when my response is, nah, I'm good. I'm doing this over here. Oh, you think you better than everybody. Oh, he doesn't take advice. Now I'm looked at as the person that's not open to collaborating, right? You didn't adhere to the first rule when giving somebody feedback. The first rule to giving somebody feedback is first asking that person, do you mind if I give you some feedback? Now, if you ask me that first and I say no, that means I don't want your feedback. That doesn't make me a negative person, a person that won't collaborate. That doesn't make you an unhealthy person. That just makes you a person that don't have time to listen to what's going on right now.